woke up this morning and I saw that Drake is sending shots at a politician. We're gonna get into the coverage of this. This is the Ville, really cool channel. I think I'm subscribed. I'm not subscribed. We're gonna hit them with a sub. This is just weird to me. This is just odd to me that Drake would even take the time.
Here it says that Drake calls Canadian politician a goof for going to a Kendrick Toronto show.
That's not the worst he could have did though. Like, I mean, imagine getting a DM and someone just said you're a goof. Like, I wouldn't even reply. I'd be like, okay, that's all you got. This story is just developing literally 12 a.m. on the dot, and I see this on my timeline. Ex-Canadian politician responds to Drake calling him a goof. He said, I went for SZA, not Kendrick. I was born in this city. I love this city. But real talk, I get it. I shouldn't have gone at all. OVO and Drake have lifted up this city in Canada. For me, it'll always be Drake over Kendrick. What? Very unexpected. You know what I mean? Very unexpected. I thought that maybe the response was going to be a little harsher than that. I mean, I wouldn't have said anything back, but I'd be kind of pissed to be like, I was just at a concert. It ain't that deep.
He also has issues with the city of Toronto. Look at the DM right here. It says that Jagmeet Singh is the man's name, the government politician here, the Canadian politician. Okay. It says, honored, thanks for the follow. Now, I just want to
That was back in 2019. Drake followed him. This dude was like, thank you for the follow, appreciate you. And then some years go by, and all of a sudden he's mad because he's turning up at a Kendrick Lamar concert. Bro, it's not that deep.
But notice how he hasn't messaged him since 2019, even after he followed the guy. Drake never messaged him. He never told him anything. You could see here that he's responded to Drake's stories, but Drake never even responded to that.
Man, imagine, bro. Imagine the only DM you got back from an artist that you somewhat admire is them insulting you like a third grader. This is why you lost the beef right here, bro. If you're gonna send shots, you can't send Nerf bullets, bro. It does not hurt anybody's feelings. Nobody that's grown is gonna be hurt by that. That's crazy.
So I don't know why Drake feels like this man owes him some type of favor. It did not look like they were buddy in the DM. Looks like Drake had followed him because he had discovered that he was a government official. Maybe he just heard about him in the Toronto or Canadian news. I'm not sure why Drake followed him in the first place, but after 2019, it looks like they didn't talk at all. Not until 2025, 7 years later, where he calls him a goof because he attended the Kendrick Lamar concert. Now, that's a very interesting statement.
That's crazy, bro. How just because he attended a concert?
So at a Canadian
that's
politician,
wow.
a Canadian government official, because he went to a Kendrick Lamar concert. Kendrick Lamar's concert did a lot for the city of Toronto. It most likely brought in a lot of revenue for the city, for the people in Toronto, for the people in Canada. When people like this, like him, Taylor Swift, when they go to a place like Toronto, a place that's in another country, it's a very big deal. They're bringing a lot of money to the city. That definitely helps the city later on.
If I completely forget to keep that in mind.
I understand, but there should be no reason why Drake should be mad at this guy just because he attended a concert, especially when you look at the DMs. If you take a look at the DMs, look how crazy this is. You hadn't talked to this man at all. You followed him 7 years ago. He messaged you. You never responded.
Yeah, no, he did quite literally snub him.
You're mad and you call him a goof even though you have no real relationship with this man?
Well, if Drake took the time, right, to DM this politician, there's realistically a very big chance that they've had some one-on-one conversation. Instagram DMs. Just because he didn't reply a whole lot of times to him in the Instagram DMs doesn't mean that they haven't had any personal one-on-one encounters. And they may be better friends than we know. It could be deeper, and we're looking at it like, oh, Drake's just sending shots at a politician. It could be deeper than that. You know, I mean, I processed it through the day. I thought about it, and I was like, there's always more to it, right? There's always two sides to stories like this. So I'm just interested to see if Drake even takes the time to address this situation deeper. You know, I wouldn't expect him to, though. I really wouldn't expect him to even pay this any mind. It's bad for business.
Posted in the caption, or somebody had posted that he was tagged in. It said, what an honor it's been to witness this journey. Jagmeet Singh, you changed the face of Canada, becoming the first person of color elected to lead a federal party.
Okay.
But you didn't stop at breaking barriers. You fought for us. You delivered dental care, 10 federal sick days, anti-scam legislation, and a $10 a day child care. You laid the foundation for pharmacare.
$10 a day? $10 a day for childcare is crazy. For whatever reason that Drake sent that DM, like, that's kind of wild. If he's doing all these things for the Canadian people and Drake is sitting here on some petty shit because he's at a Kendrick Lamar concert and it's not deeper than that, that's crazy, bro. It seems like this guy's for the people. He's not just one of those goofy politicians out here that's just trying to sell a dream to you. You know what I'm saying?
Now, this is very interesting considering that Jagmeet Singh is somebody that's actually liked by the people. He's a Democratic Party. He's always fought for the human rights of the people over there in Canada. And not to forget to mention that he is somebody who was the first person of color elected into the federal party. It sounds very colonizer-ish of Drake to disrespect this man when he's one of the first person of color to be elected in the federal party. I just find it very
he ain't lying, bro. That don't look good.
Out of his way to disrespect a
don't
man
look good.
that actually is doing something for the people of Canada. You know, everybody wants to talk about Drake being the president. Oh, Drake is the president. Drake does a lot for Toronto. He does a lot for Canada. Well, if that's the case, why would he disrespect a man that does a lot for the people of Canada, that does a lot for the people over there? Why would you disrespect a man that does the things that people claim that you do? People call you the president, but I don't see you over here helping the people, getting connected with officials.
All right, well, I mean, to say that Drake isn't helping the people is wild, because you know that he gives back. We all know that Drake is very charitable. It's not really fair to ask an artist to go get connected with public officials. Depending on how big of what you're doing is, they're just going to gravitate to you. That's their job. That's their job. All right? Like, as an artist, you're really supposed to stay away from politics to a degree. It's not really his job to get involved at all with any political office, like, you know, any kind of governmental body, nothing. That's not his job.
What you could do to better the people's lives over there in the city of Toronto or Canada. Matter of fact, you're doing the exact opposite and calling them goofs. And to disrespect another person of color when they're being elected into these parties, when they're being elected as government officials, you should have a little bit more respect, because those are the people of color that are actually taking a stand to protect the people in the city that you think that calls you president, in the country that you think you're the president of. You're not doing anything political. You've never been a vocal piece. So the fact that you're calling a man a goof that's protecting human rights over there in Canada, as well as a colored man, it seems very colonizerish and it seems very disrespectful to the people in Canada. Not only that, it just looks very immature, bro. And at the end of the day, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. At the end of the day, it looks like Drake is still upset. He's mad, he's pissed, he's upset that everybody over there in Canada, especially the government officials, were enjoying Kendrick Lamar being in their country. And this just goes to show, even though he doesn't like to show it, that Drake is upset about Kendrick Lamar being over there in Toronto. He's upset that he flew through Canada.
Yes, you are upset. Yeah. See.
I'm upset. Louder! I'm upset!
And no, Kendrick did not fly back to New York and fly back to Toronto. There's this narrative going around that Kendrick Lamar had flew to Canada, flew back to New York, and then flew back to Canada to finish the second night. But he's upset at Canada, he's upset at Toronto, and he's upset at the people in Toronto and Canada who have been in support of Kendrick Lamar.
Do you guys really think that Drake is mad at Toronto right now? Let me know. Hit the comments, man. I don't really know. This could have just been like a one-off drunk little DM. He was like, you know, feeling himself, and he was like, you know what, I'm just gonna send an angry DM, and then he regretted it later. Like, subscribe, keep on commenting. I love the engagement. Check out Blackberry Tones, check out Grievance, my 2 new projects on all platforms, man. You don't have to leave this platform if you want to listen to my music, though. You can go right to my page, hit releases, you can see all the music that I've dropped right there. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll catch you next time. Peace.